Hey everybody, finally got the new turbocharger installed and got things put together again. I'm going to start it up and take it for a little mild test drive because the turbo, you need to break it in a little bit before you really get on it. I put a heat shield, a nice little heat shield on there, since the original heat shield won't fit with the new performance downpipe anymore. Performance downpipe is a lot easier to remove than the factory downpipe. It's also straight through, so that's even better. And of course I still have cat, but I have one, not three. You only need one, you don't need three of them. But anyway, that's my opinion. And I'm where I only need one anyway. You don't need three. Three's overkill, especially where the cat sensor is in front of the other two. So that tells me you don't need it. Anyhow, everything put back together. I've done quite a few things to the Subaru ever since I've got it, and a really important thing to have on your Subaru, if you're buying a used Subaru, is a sticker that tells you the last time the timing belt was changed. My timing belt was changed at 216,600 miles. If you cannot find a sticker on your Subaru indicating when the timing belt was changed last and it has more than 100,000 miles, guess what? Your timing belt could take a crap at any time. And most of the time the timing belts break. There's the timing cover on the driver's side cam and the other one on the exhaust cam. But on the crankshaft is normally where it breaks because it's the smaller pulley and the teeth break off. And then you smack whatever valves are open, and you smack half your valves in your engine, if not all of them, depending on the speed you break your timing belt at. But anyway, without further ado, let's start the turbo Subaru up. After all this work on putting a new TD04 turbocharger in, let us see if all my work was worth it. I've already filled everything with oil and coolant. All that's left is to let the coolant circulate through the heater core, so you put the temperature up real high, highest you can get, and take it for a little drive. Then cool it down, let it cool down until it gets cool again, and then top off your coolant if necessary. And you want to make sure there's all the air and everything out of the coolant. Now, when I did the initial coolant filling, I made sure that the coolant is full on the radiator, and you take that lid off and make sure the coolant is full on the turbo coolant supply tank. So you make sure both of those are full before you start the car, or you're going to have a big air pocket and overheat. Another important thing, these fuel fittings are known to just pop off because there's nothing really holding them there except a clip. And I had one of those clips pop off at me when the engine was at idle, like this. If that would have happened on the road, I would have had a big fire and probably lost the Subaru. So I use safety wire or stainless steel lock wire. The safety wire there to a bracket, safety wire there to a bracket. So if it wants to come off, guess what? It's got to break the safety wire and the fittings inside the fuel disconnect. So I did that as extra precautions, like I did in my military days on aircraft. Your safety wire things you want to secure. Let's hear the new turbo and exhaust and everything. My new downpipe is installed as well, so this exhaust is about as free flow as you want. There's the downpipe, goes to the rest of the exhaust system. It has a catalytic converter in front of the turbo on the up pipe. So it still has a catalytic converter. So it's still legal around here. California, nothing you put on aftermarket's legal. So anyway, it's good to go for here, or the other 49 states or 48 states, whichever, because other states got more stringent deals. Well, here we are. I'm going to close the hood. We'll take a quick little spin just to make sure everything is running okay. I'm not going to floor it because I want to break the turbo in with some mileage first on the new oil and filter. Okay, let's take a little spin. Just a little one, not a big one. A little around the block and feel what this T04E is like at low throttle, very low throttle. All right, just put my safety belt on. Take me a little bit here. Safety belt is on. Let's take us a little spin. Idle's good. No vacuum leaks. Or it wouldn't idle like this at all. I do not have a boost gauge on there, but I'm going to keep the throttle low so I can keep it pretty much zero boost for about 100 miles or so to let the turbo roller bearings break in right. Well, let's take us a little spin. So far, so good. Going pretty fast for no boost and barely touching the accelerator, so she's doing good so far. I'll slow down for the slow speed limit. Yes. And go around my curve that's supposed to be at 15 miles an hour, but you know me. Sounds good so far, and so far I believe this turbo is going to solve the problem of the last turbocharger. I will get significant boost this time, not like last time where I didn't even have enough boost to open the blow-off valve, which is pathetic. And I gave it a couple 100 miles before I gave up on that turbo and bought another and put it in, which is what part 1 through part 4 show me removing the turbocharger that didn't perform up to par. And now I've installed the new turbo, the TD04. It's a decent sized turbo. It's not really big and it's not that small, so it's kind of in the middle. And the best thing about this TD04 is the exhaust housing is small, which means the turbo is going to spool fast and have very little turbo lag. In fact, a lot smaller than most other turbos. It'll have very little to no lag. So pretty much at 2,500 RPM, I'll start feeling pull. And at 3,000, you pretty much have full pull and pretty steady pull to redline. Whereas the bigger turbos, they pull at 3,500, 4,500 RPM, and then they pull really hard, I mean severely hard, to a redline, like a T88 or a T70, T76, GT35, 82, you know, bigger turbos like that start a little later in the power range. So far so good. Temperatures is good. All readings are good. So I'll continue my nice little drive. I've got my heater on maximum, so all the coolant is flowing through the heater core to make sure there's no air bubbles, since I drained the cooling system before I started removing the old turbocharger, which was videos part 1 through part 4. I'll give it a little throttle, not much. Very little throttle here. Very little throttle, and I'm already over 60, which is pretty good. Touch my brake because I start seeing cars come around, so touch my brake. Well, that's a little push, not much. Put on the cruise control for a little bit. Let it relax. Nice day for a drive, nice and sunny. Very little cloud cover, and the air is nice and cool, so you can't ask for any better weather today. Nice and cool, but yet sunny and comfortable, but not too cool, just right. You couldn't ask for a nicer day to test drive the Subaru after I installed the new TDO4 turbocharger, which, you know, I could show the turbo I got and where I got it, which was on eBay. It's pretty easy. I mean, you put in 2005 Subaru Outback XT TDO4 turbo, and you'll find the turbo I got. And the way to find the best price plus shipping is on the drop-down menu on filter, lowest cost plus shipping. That's the best way to get the best price deal on a turbocharger on eBay. So hopefully that helps some of you out. I'm going to do a stop and just do a quarter throttle accel and see how it goes. Quarter throttle, which is nothing. Here we go. Turbo isn't broke in yet, so I really don't know how it's going to do when I totally get on it. Do a third gear, quarter throttle. Oh, that's strange. Not much of a pull. Yeah, makes me wonder how it's going to do after 100 miles or so. If it's going to perform up to par or do better than the last turbocharger. Yeah. Well. Not bad, but not great. I hope the turbo pulls better later. Interesting. Yep. Alrighty then, well, this is not a bad first test. I mean, I haven't floored it. I've given a little bit of RPMs at, you know, like a lower throttle position, but so I haven't really totally tested it yet. That's not bad, just for low pull, considering. Feels a lot better than the last one at the low throttle that I've been keeping, so I have to say, so far so good. It's been a good test so far. After I do 100 miles or 150 or so and change the oil again, just because I like a nice fresh oil on a new turbo with journal bearings. It's not a ball bearing turbo, so it doesn't spool as fast. Perhaps someday, probably in another few months, if I get used to the TD04 and I'm not that happy with it, I'll order a ball bearing T60. TD06, I mean, a TD06 turbo with ball bearings. That'll be the final turbo I put on this thing that should take me up to about 450 horse-ish. So, anywho, I'll finish this video. You guys have a great day. Take care now.